a weird one, and not weird in the fact that why.
Weird that we haven't poured it before.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, so you're talking about one of the most sought after bottles really on the planet right now. And basically because of price point.
Yeah.
And here's what we're here to tell you. You've all probably heard of Weller. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a history of Weller and why it's so important. We're going to do all the things we're supposed to do because we haven't poured it before. We've poured the Weller Antique for the Fox and Pheasant Group.
Yeah.
Special Reserve is a much different proofed version, which many people prefer. Yeah, I don't argue against it, right? But it is a whiskey that went from daily drinker for many to now
daily seeker.
So let's start with this. We're talking about Weller. So William LaRue Weller, who is credited by some to be the first people to use wheat as a secondary grain, past corn to make American whiskey. Usually people used rye. That started the whole wheat craze. So when you think about, guess who William LaRue Weller hired at his distillery? Pappy Van Winkle. So he hired Pappy Van Winkle, who became Pappy. And, you know, that is where now American whiskey lore exists, right? Buffalo Trace Distillery, wheated mash bill lineage. So Weller and Pappy come from the same place. It is what they call poor man's Pappy. So they make now it's 6 technically. But at the beginning, when I was first getting into whiskey, I was drinking Weller in a plastic screw cap bottle for $24 a bottle. And that's what it was.
The good old days.
My, how times have changed.
Yeah.
Because now you will go anywhere, and first off, if you just walk in, it's the Blanton's thing, right? You walk into some place and you're like, do you have Weller? Do you have Blanton's?
Yeah.
That's what every person who walks in off of Instagram asks any liquor store ever. So it's the two probably most sought after bottles as the common searching goes. That has just escalated these things from being a sub $30 bottle to at least $99 and often $199 for Special Reserve Weller.
Still a twist cap.
Still a metal twist cap. Yeah. Oh, this one. Here we go. Still a twist cap. So that was not special effects.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
Yeah. It is to the point, and I mention it in the actual notes. There is not a better bang for your buck whiskey, I think, on the planet. No. What it presents, how it presents, the flavor profile. It is a traditional American Kentucky bourbon, wheated bourbon, which brings a softness, sweetness, and brings you all the layers, right? It's the vanilla, the caramel, the honey, tobacco, full-bodied experience every single time, super consistently, perfectly balanced American whiskey.
Yeah.
For $30 to $40. But that's where I say, I want you to try it. I want you to drink it. It's delicious. But there's a point now where it doesn't make sense. And for me, when we can buy it and we can buy it at the right price, we buy all we can for that price.
Yes.
But I will always refuse to pay any more than like $60 ever for this whiskey. Because I start to also say, for that price, I can find some things that can compete with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think $70 out the door with tax and everything is probably the good deal right now at a lot of places. I mean, we've been able to source it a little bit cheaper than that.
Yeah.
We see it a lot more expensive. I mean, up to $200 or whatever.
But what I will say is, at $70, I start to think of a lot of other bottles that I'm totally okay with.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. Although I don't know that Weller Special Reserve is such an easy pour. Checks all the boxes. Like, I mean, if I could get it for the price point that we get, like, and I know you mentioned this in the notes, Pipe Dream.
Yeah.
If we could get it at that rate or that price point, then it's like all day long, Weller.
Well, yeah, but that's my whole point. Like,
Yeah.
So what's taken place of like the Weller is like you starting to get into like, cool, can I just drink Benchmark then?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's now the true daily drinker. Like Benchmark Full Proof or the top shelf that our top they call it top.
They call it
Top floor.
Top floor.
Top floor, or even the small batch. This was the other one, yeah. But look, that they're almost now marketing their bottom tier whiskeys as their now mid tier, because all their mid tiers are allocated.
Correct. So you're gonna actually, this is gonna, so good knowledge, because this is actually gonna pay attention to this, because this is gonna be the future of lower tier whiskeys.
Yeah.
It's gonna get labeled as higher tier whiskeys in order to market it in a place where you feel like you're getting a good deal for something that is just really super young.
Yeah. Well, so Benchmark came out, and again, Benchmark by Buffalo Trace. It is a minimally aged, but still 4 or 5 years. It's a different mash bill, obviously, than this guy, but it's basically young George C. Stagg, Colonel Taylor, that mash bill,
Yeah.
and they were selling that bottom shelf for like $16.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come out with like layers. Now it's foolproof, and now it's top floor, and now those are like $24 to $25, which is where these used to exist.
Yeah. And what's interesting, at least for me, as more of a younger bourbon drinker, in terms of just my years of experience with bourbon and American whiskey, is that as my flavor profile changes and I start getting into more of the higher proof things, when I go back and revisit some of the lower end bottles that are on the bottom shelf, and I start to try those again, I'm thinking, oh, actually, this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some stuff out there that's like rot gut. I don't want to put it in my body.
Yeah.
But there's other things that are on that bottom shelf for a pretty inexpensive price where it's like, yeah, it's a younger version of this or that. But it's actually pretty good.
Ancient age.
Yeah.
We got into that. Ancient
I did
age.
Wild Turkey 101 the other day, and I was like blown away at the fact that, geez, this is a $20-something bottle. It's pretty dang good.
So this is why, and I bring these up because I hate, look, I'm not the guy that hates the band once they become famous, right? Like if they're good, they're good. And Weller's still good.
Yeah.
And it's damn good.
Yeah,
There's a reason that it became so sought after. The problem is once demand outweighed supply, it's driven it to a price point that I feel is unwarranted and unfair. And all I'm saying is enjoy this, because we're going to pour. We've poured you some, and you're going to try some Weller, which is a young Pappy at a beautiful cut. It's a beautiful whiskey, but look, MSRP is still a little over $30.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're thinking $100 is a good deal at 3 times the original price, I feel it's irresponsible. It's the problem with the kind of whiskey world that we live in on the secondary market right now. Yeah. It's in states where they don't dictate pricing, that allows an individual liquor store to do whatever they want based on demand and internet pricing. Yeah. So,
which catches fire.
It does, and it sucks, because again, I miss this being my daily. Now, I say that, but you can still find them, and for the right price, and it's why I'm literally sitting on a case of them right now, and there's a case over there of them, because when I can get them, I do, because I love it.
We do.
It's really good. but only pay the right price for it. And trust me, when I tell you, they're making more of this than they ever have.
Well, and that was really well said, and I just want to agree that, and for me personally, I mean, my first pour of Weller, and I actually probably wasn't Special Reserve. You probably poured me something else other than Special Reserve that was more. It might have been that,
but
it might have been the 12. But regardless, when I first had the green label, it just like it was my palate. Like it was like, oh my gosh, like I could drink this every day and feel like every day, like, oh my gosh, that's really good juice. Because it checks every box for me.
It is a traditional, especially when this is also, if you guys remember the first videos where he's like weeded.
Yeah.
He was a huge weeded fan mainly because of this whiskey.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, and because it hit that caramel, vanilla, honey.
Yeah.
The nose right now, I'm getting so much bubble gum.
I just said the same. I mean, I'm getting like bubble gum.
Yeah. And I didn't put that on there, but I'm getting a ton of it right now.
Too.
Maybe it's just coming off the other whiskey.
Well, yeah, we were coming off something else too.
But there's a bubble gum, almost like first time ever, Big League Chew.
Okay.
I just did it, Big League Chew.
Nice.
Big League Chew, caramel, honey.
Yeah.
On the finish. And that sounds delicious. In my brain, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Tasting it, you get some of the honey, the vanilla, some sweet fruit. You get like a plum apple kind of finish.
I'm getting nothing but bubblegum.
I know. And then you get some of the oak and vanilla and leather at the end, like all the things and tobacco that you would normally get. This is a glass that as you finish drinking it and the glass empties out, it smells like pure pipe tobacco. But a little sharper oak than I remember on that one right there. And again,
well, we came off of very balanced.
That's what I'm saying. We're coming off something. We poured for the other group, Kentucky Owl Takumi, which is a Japanese blender to some aged Kentucky Owl whiskeys that is crazy balanced. There's a sharp oak finish to that a little bit.
Coming off of the other one to this, I can feel it's a little young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
It's great.
But it is a dry, almost meh finish.
Yeah.
And this is not, it's not a knock. We can drink, this is a daily drinker. I drink this all the time. It's delicious all the way through. It's just hard to, we should not work backwards.
We should not.
Yeah.
No. So our bad. But yes.
That Kentucky Owl is absolutely special. Yeah. And you realize how special it is.
Yeah. And so for you society members, just real quickly, if you do get an opportunity, this is what we're coming off of. And that's the Kentucky Owl Takumi edition. That's why we're having a hard time with the balance right now. Well, that's one of the most super balanced bourbons I've ever had. Or whiskey
one, you'll probably never find, or you can't find it. And when you do, they're asking $100.
Yeah.
Or you can drive right now to a Costco or a Total Wine
and pick that up.
Pick it up for $100.
Yeah.
And that's why I say now, don't get Instagrammed.
Yeah. This is a 90 proof compared to 100 proof.
Well, but that doesn't mean
4, 5, 6, 13-year blend.
About six.
This, you think that's about 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was going to say 4 to 6, but that's probably about right.
And again, it is a delicious whiskey.
Yeah. It's actually one of our favorites. So whatever you hear tonight on this video.
No, well, my thing is not about the whiskey because the whiskey is amazing.
Yeah.
But it was always a great value whiskey. And that's no longer the deal.
It's not.
It's not a great value anymore.
No. Great whiskey, not a great value.
So for me now, it's always about if you can find it for the right price, get it. If you can't, don't pay up crazy prices and 3 times the actual MSRP for a whiskey that's supposed to be a common bottom to bottom mid-level shelf whiskey just because that's what everybody tells you to do. I can't be a hypocrite. I have dozens of bottles
of different Wellers.
We
could open up a store.
Yeah, of different Wellers, and so I understand. I understand what's in the bottle, and I want it, but for the right price. And I don't feel like I've ever overpaid for any Weller, and I kind of refuse to, just because, again, excuse me, hold please. I used to drink Weller.
Oh, the original. This is the OG right here.
Out of these bottles.
Yeah, that's what it originally looked like.
So this is your old school Weller with just this clear label.
Same juice.
And plastic plastic cap there. And I have bought bottles for like $22. And now this bottle, just because it's in that bottle, would sell for
well, and interesting. They use the WL Weller Special Reserve, which they don't even do that anymore. On the bottles. But I will say, depending on where you live, depending on your access level to this, $70 out the door and below is probably the highest price point you'd want to pay for this.
And you can find it for that.
Yeah.
But don't patron the folks that are making you pay $100.
Don't drop $200 on a bottle of this. And if that's the case and you're a member with us, hit us up, because we will give it to you for much cheaper than that. We will source it for you.
Looking at you, Oscar. All right.
Don't do that. Matter of fact, don't do that with any bottle until you check with us, because chances are, as a club member, you're going to be able to get an opportunity to pull something that's a little bit less expensive than the secondhand market.
Fox and Pheasant member, and it's why you want to upgrade.
Oh, Fox and Pheasant members for sure. You society folks,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is why you upgrade. This is why you upgrade. This is why we're pouring stuff like this now, is because there's only a handful of you guys left.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of folks that upgraded because they want us to source bottles for them too. So
that's right. There are perks.
There are perks. So I can definitely find these for you at a reasonable price.
But what we will say is it's an excellent bourbon. We have never poured this for society members. We've never poured any Weller for society members. And typically, because of the price point in the secondhand market, maybe we wouldn't normally do that. We might even push this up to Fox and Pheasant.
It's getting there, but we've got enough antique. We've got enough Weller
that we felt like we could do it. And we also wanted you to try some really good whiskey. And so we're proud to bring this to you. Appreciate your membership, but look at upgrading, because we can source you a lot of different bottles, and you're going to try things that will blow your mind.
Yeah. Again, listen, guys, this is a special treat, but just because of its impossibility to get now at a reasonable price. I pour it for you so you can get your taste for it. If you like it, let us know. If you want more and you want to be able to buy it, upgrading, I can source this for you. But I'm becoming, the deeper and deeper we get into the whiskey game, I hate, and remember, our whole Whiskey Preservation Society was designed around preserving not only the history of American whiskeys and where they come from and the stories behind them, but access to it. And that access to it part is hitting this all-time low. Demand is extremely high. Production is the highest it's ever been, but it's almost like things are being allocated and protected, and people know that they can hoard it. And you see these Instagram images and TikToks of people with these they show their whiskey shelves of like 400 bottles, and it's like 400 bottles of like 6 different bottles. They hoard all the same things. And it's because that's what they've been told they're supposed to have. And I want you to try it to know, yes, it's good. But I can tell you right now, if this is more than $50 for me, I'm drinking Pipe Dream all day.
Absolutely. Well, we don't need you to turn this into a pandemic. It's like just, release the bottles. People stop stocking up on stuff that, you don't need to have 6 different bottles of 300 of each. Because 6 different variations of 300 each. Let people get access to it.
And hey, sneak peek, moving forward a couple months. And by the way, we're sitting in a position right now that we're in such a
Yeah.
we've got pours for the next, like, I don't know
Yeah.
how many months
Yeah.
of unique bottles that we've been able to get
Yeah.
that I'm just, they're all in the
Well,
chamber
and
right
they're gonna blow up and become popular.
Yeah.
We got them before they did because that's what we do. And you're gonna get access to them, and you're gonna try them.
But I was gonna say we just bought 2 bottles of a custom blended, what they want is a Pappy killer, you know,
Yeah.
a 10-year
Oh,
Pappy clone
Yeah.
of Maker's Mark. Again, a weeded backbone bourbon. That what they really went after was a profile for
Pappy 10.
Pappy 10, and this is when I say this.
Well,
It's
and
a better
barrel pick.
It's a barrel pick.
Yeah.
It's a unique barrel
Yeah, you ain't gonna
pick,
get this anywhere.
and you're not going to get it anywhere. But it's like, but even for the price point, I see people asking more for Weller
Yeah.
than that, and that's when it makes me angry and insane.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that should even be in the same stratosphere, but because of hyped demand and Instagram whiskey collectors, this has become this and Blanton's. I used to drink Blanton's every day for $55, $58,
Yeah.
and this every day for $24 to $30. And I know that makes me just sound old, but this was like less than a decade ago.
Yeah. And you know, like Jed said earlier, the whole reason why we do this is to educate and to preserve the access to, and to make sure that you have all the education around this. Because at consumers, we're the ones that dictate how this goes. And if the secondhand market can sell this for $200 or $300 a bottle, it's going to continue to do that. It's going to rise. But if we are able to source other bourbons or whiskeys that are complementary to this, and we change our likes and our purchases, then they have to change.
Well, I'm not that. I'm a romantic, but I'm not naive. I think that ship has sailed. I think the popularity.
I'm still a revolutionist, so
I know,
you know, if we gotta make
the
it happen.
popularity of American whiskey right now worldwide has dictated a market that is so inflated. Until they make more or they control the way that it is sold, that's not going to change, because you got the hoarders will be hoarders, you know. And
But you can find something else that's comparable
for sure
for a good price that'll meet your needs.
But that's what we're saying.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the whole argument. Is this whole pour was to go try it. Here it is. I want you to have it. Don't pay more than $60, maybe $70. I wouldn't pay $70.
I'm talking out the door.
Yeah.
So it's $62 or something, and you're
Yeah.
paying $8 in tax.
Don't pay any more than that. But if you just want one because you
Just
need
let
it in
us
your
know.
collection, let us know.
Let us know.
But otherwise,
We'll only charge you $80. No.
68 out the door.
Yeah, 68.
No.
We'll beat. Well, we'll beat any written price. No.
Damn, this guy.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Are you gonna have an inflatable
Yeah.
wacky arm?
Well, yeah, there's going to be a
Yeah.
wacky arm. There's going to be a whole billboard. I don't know.
So I hope you enjoyed. This was not a Weller rant. It's a Weller fan club
Yeah.
that cautions you about the secondary market and the need for finding daily drinkers.
Yeah, I'm personally trying to source one of every Weller. So just so you know, we love it.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a couple that are going to be cost prohibitive, so I'm not going to be able to get them because I'm not going to pay $700 for a single barrel Weller. But I am going to keep my eye out and keep working towards something that is a little bit more affordable. But we love Weller.
Perfect example. Very first release of CYPV.
Yeah.
So white label CYPV.
Yeah.
Sells on the secondary market for anywhere between $800 and $1,200.
Yeah.
And I literally bought it in a grocery store for $45.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the ridiculousness of.
But it's the patience too. I picked up a Weller 12 for $65 at a local grocery store.
Yeah, you did.
You know, that bottle's, $300-400 easily on the secondhand market. But it's patience and knowing that I don't have to have it right now, but I want it and I'll get it at the right price point. And
Buy it at the right price.
Let's figure it out. But I'm not going to break the bank to go get something that somebody on Instagram said you got to have this in your collection. We're going to showcase for you a ton of bottles that are more drinkable. They may not be as collectible Instagram wise, but they're gonna fill.
You
They're
spell
gonna fill
Instagram.
Instagram wise.
Instagram.
We've been drinking.
Yeah.
And it's gonna meet those needs. You don't need to go out there and spend all that kind of money. So
Yeah.
keep subscribing. Let us know what you want to drink. If you want Weller, let us know.
You covered all the bases.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this might be a record setter of most words spoken by Jason in any video so far.
Very true.
Yeah.
It very well could be.
So
Yeah.
you're welcome, or I'm sorry. You decide. But otherwise, guys,
I'm usually Ed McMahon. I just am like, yeah, there we go. I don't know.
we appreciate you. Enjoy your Weller. Shop smartly.
It's a great tagline. Appreciate you, Go Kings.
Yeah, light the beam.
Night to be.